刚在台下挣扎了很久，到底应该要用中文讲还是用英文讲？对，因为我刚才跟 Ricardo 在讨论，我问他说你会用中文还是英文？
If he would be speaking in Chinese or English, he said he could speak Chinese, but he's better at English. I said I'm the same, only that I speak English too, but my Chinese is better. So I have decided that I will speak in Chinese, but my slides are in English.
But you can still refer to my PowerPoint content, which is written in English. 好，那今天
So I am very honored to be here to talk to you about what cross-border commerce, e-commerce, has changed the market. How many of you have heard of Amazon? Because a lot of people have heard of us. They've heard of Amazon's drones, as well as its always rising stock prices. A lot of people have heard of Amazon, but we are looking forward to become the most customer-centered enterprise in the world. This year, starting in April, we announced the formation of our Taiwanese office, which means that we can better help Taiwanese businesses in taking their business abroad to the United States or to Japan. If you are interested in doing that, you are more than welcome to talk to us in our Taiwan office. In the past, if you wanted to go abroad, you needed to register yourself in the United States, and there was the time difference between Taiwan and America. But today, with Amazon, we can do things in a lot more easier ways. And that is Amazon's mission. Today, we have progressed from traditional export models to cross-border e-commerce, and we can help you make that leap or that transformation. In the past, when manufacturers wanted to sell the products to the end user, it had to go through a lot of different layers, from the exporter to the importer to the wholesaler and the retailer. And the reason that there were so many different layers was because of information intransparency. Only the exporters knew who the importers were, and only the importers knew who the wholesalers were. The end users did not know who the retailer was buying from and who the wholesaler was getting their products from. So a lot of middlemen were required in the past, and each of these layers also meant that each of these layers are, it means that your products would become a lot more expensive, because each of these layers need to make money, adding more cost onto the final product, making the product more expensive. And it also takes more time, because not only does each layer means an additional dollar amount added to the product, it also means an additional time added to the time you received the product that you have ordered. But today, information is becoming more transparent. The spread or dissemination of information is becoming easier due to social media and other online platforms as well. So in today's new model, with much more transparent information, it means that we don't have to go through all those different layers anymore. Today, it is a lot easier for us. The new model is so different from in the past. We are now working under a cross-border e-commerce, and within this model, only one middleman exists between the manufacturer and the end user, and this person or this role is played by people like Amazon or other online platforms. So the rise of the internet has really completely changed the traditional way of doing business. No longer do does each layer add more money to the final product, and no longer does each player add more time to the final delivery date. So far, Taiwanese exports have not been performing well. The number has been declining. Some say for 15 quarters straight, some say for 16 quarters straight. In fact, we can look at the graphs here. We can see that overall, after 2014, global exports are going down, and the trend is also reflected in Taiwan. In 2014, the export volume peaked and then it dropped in 2015 and 2016. That's because most of our exports were concentrated in just a few sectors. In the past, HTC was a big company, and so there were a lot of phone exports, but HTC is no longer as big as it was, and that of course has an impact on Taiwanese exports. And for the past few years, Taiwanese exports have been declining in number. But this is strange. We're talking about a globalized world. We're talking about a world that has become flat. If that is the case, why has export volumes gone down? Well, it's because people are no longer focusing on export alone anymore. A lot of people, a lot of businesses are today doing business on the internet. This is a number here showing that in 2015, e-commerce only accounted for 7.4% of total commerce done in the world. This means that for every $100 that a customer has, only $7 is spent on the internet. But within 5 years, the forecast tells us that, well, we're 2017 now, so it means 3 years from now, that 7% would go to 14%. That's a double growth. And of course, this means that the power of the internet is growing. And this growth not only exists in B2C, it also exists in B2B. But focusing on B2C first, in the world globally, B2C is growing so much, as you can see. But the gray part shows B2B e-commerce volume, but the yellow bars show cross-border e-commerce volume. So we're seeing even greater growths in cross-border e-commerce volumes. The growth rate of this sector is at 20 to 30%. This means that more and more people are doing business with people that are not even in the same country. What you can see is that the trend is evident around the world. B2C trades not only are done within one country anymore, they're also done across the border. But as I have just said, other than B2C, B2B is also becoming a big part. For B2C, which is what we are looking at now, a lot of people are buying from e-commerce operators abroad. For example, I can buy music on Amazon. I can buy clothing from Abercrombie & Fitch. All of these are operators that are not in Taiwan. And when you buy from those people, you are engaging in cross-border e-commerce. That's a very It's no longer a difficult concept to grasp. It's a day-to-day concept because a lot of us are doing cross-border e-commerce ourselves. So we've been talking about B2C, but a lot of Chinese businesses, they're B2B operators. Similarly, we're seeing a growth or more potential in online commerce for B2B as well. It is expected that by 2020 in the United States, B2C e-commerce will reach $532 billion US. That's a lot of money. It includes a lot of businesses, but the B2B market will be even greater. Within the United States alone, by 2020, B2B e-commerce will reach $1.13 trillion US. It's on a totally different scale, so much bigger than the B2C market. So the rise of the internet not only has an impact on people like us who shop at department stores, The rise of the internet has also impacted how businesses purchase or procure objects or items for themselves. By 2020, Hybrid Software estimates that B2B e-commerce will generate $6.7 trillion in revenue, and 90% of procurers will be saying that they prefer to use online channels. For ordinary consumers like you and me, we buy on the internet, that's B2C. But for businesses, they're talking about B2B. And also for B2B, e-commerce is the next big trend. You may ask, what are the factors driving so much growth in e-commerce? It all started in 2014. It started in 2014. In a lot of companies, the procurers, they're ordinary consumers like you and me as well. And in their daily life, these procurers would be shopping for daily items like the toilet paper at home. And so these people are getting used to buying things on the internet. And when they go to work, when they procure objects for their companies, it's no longer that big of a transition to ask them to buy on the internet because they're already used to the idea buying daily goods for themselves. And 68% of B2B buyers made online purchases in 2014, and that was up from 57% in 2013 because that was when that was a time when people started buying things on the internet in 2014. And 8.5% of total wholesale can be attributed to B2B e-commerce, and that was also in 2014. This next slide shows how Amazon helps people to attract B2B buyers. We began doing this a few years ago, and we were doing this with the B2B market in mind. We launched this in January 2014, and within the first 10 months of launching, we have accumulated $1 billion of sales. So we are really seeing very good response from the B2B market, a lot of demand from this sector. And so far, we have more than 1 million corporate accounts or corporate users. One business represents one company, one account represents one company, but within one company, there are so many procurers. So with 1 million corporate accounts, we have billions of people doing B2B business on our platform. So as I've just mentioned before, you can be a B2C consumer, but at the same time, you can also be a B2B consumer. And when you shop as a B2B consumer, you will likely want information transparency. You would likely want to know clearly when the objects or items can be delivered. You will likely want a very easy process of price negotiation. And with transparency on the internet, all that process of going back and forth between you and the vendor can be simplified and accelerated. Also, trust is an important part for the B2B market as well. So this is why we have a trusted supplier system. Let's imagine this. If you're a procurer and you procure 10 computers for your company, and then the second week, all those 10 computers broke down, that would be bad for you. You can get fired because of that. So within our B2B marketplace, we have a verification mechanism for sellers, which ensures trust on our B2B platform. Other than good transparency and good trust, we also offer competitive prices. We offer different tiers of price, which means that if you buy in large quantities, you can get better deals. You buy 10, you get this dollar amount. You buy 20, you get it cheaper. You buy even more, you get it even cheaper. This means that you don't have to bargain and hackle back and forth on the telephone. All you need is a easy web page like this, which speeds up the process of bargaining and negotiation between a buyer and a seller, which serves as a very important decision-making process in the procuring business. We also realize that B2B people, they have different needs when compared to B2C people. B2C people, they buy clothing, they buy tablets. But for B2B market, there are a lot of machine tools, a lot of machines, a lot of things that don't exist in the B2C market. So a lot of the B2B markets, they haven't been able to find so many products that they can sell. But at Amazon, we work with so many suppliers, including the Defense Department of the United States and a lot of universities and a lot of big companies, which helps us offer a wide range of B2B products on our platform. It is important for all of you to take note of this trend. More and more B2B business is now moving online. And this is also where we think an opportunity for Taiwanese sellers lie. In the future, I think Taiwan makes a lot of machine tools, it makes a lot of screwdrivers, for example, and all of those could be sold easily on our B2B marketplace.
And we have some business price and quantity discount. We work with 30 of these different platforms. We have a dedicated platform. You'll be able to see in your account what have you procured this month. In the past, as an IT manager of a company, people will come to you that, well, my keyboard is broken, my mouse is broken. You need to buy these small items every day. But sometimes it's too troublesome, so you ask them to buy themselves, but set an upper limit of the price. But when you go to the account department, they will ask why this is not the work or job of the IT department. Now, if it's at abc.com, everybody will be able to use the same account, and you'll be able to bid. For example, within the ABC company, the IP manager, he or she will be able to see the employees, what have they purchased within within the platform, on the website. This is what the business buyer wants. It saves a lot of human labor. Companies in Taiwan will be able to provide the business selection or B2B solution for clients in the United States or other regions. So now we talk about marketplace. In addition to B2B, B2C, we also see two major trends. Number one is brand, the other is customer. Amazon, we have an Amazon retail. We sell books, we buy books, CDs, and sell them. And you will see sold and fulfilled by Amazon. We call it retail. But we found that this is not fast enough to satisfy the needs of the buyers. Because every day we have people telling me that in addition to book and CD, I still want this and that from Amazon. So the best way is to open the platform for third-party vendors so that with their product diversity, we'll be able to satisfy the buyer's needs in an efficient manner. So marketplace, the third-party seller takes a larger and larger share. At Q4 last year, the share has reached 49%, which is equal to our retail. And the number by the end of 2017, marketplace will officially exceed retail and become the most important source of sales revenue. So third-party sellers, why there are more and more of them, in addition to fulfilling the needs of the buyers. That is, when you sell products to retail, you will not know who buy what, why they like your products, why they return the products. You only see the return rate, or the sales rate. But when you have your own brand, you get buyers' information and data, and you'll be able to know who like what are their preferences, what are their recommendations. This could be the source of your further product improvement or upgrades. So everybody wants your own brand. If you are an OEM, you will probably stick to OEM forever. So, just as someone said to me, if I can grow the hair by myself, why would I need a wig? So it's the same idea. You can promote or develop your own brand. Secondly, manage your customer. Everybody who come to buy your stuff, you know who they are. Are they male or female? What are their preferences? Where do they live? So you will be able to develop or create loyal fans of your products and services. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation today. I really love to lead the vendors in Taiwan to explore the global market. With that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much.
林惠君总经理 ，Thank you so much, Claire, for